Ciao ragazzi, I am Anthony. That is Uncle Sharma. We've done this more than enough together now to not have to linger on the introductions. My G, it's always a pleasure to see you. How you doing?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. It's a good time to be an Interista, and it's good to be back on Inter Worldwide with my brother from another mother from the other side of the world, Anthony. What's up?
Oh man, what's up is it's a beautiful morning. It's a Saturday morning here in Sydney, and this is usually around the time the butterflies kick in for me personally, because this usually means we're about T minus a day and a half away from kickoff. Torino, it's going to be a nitty gritty one, in my opinion, and I'm glad I've got you here to talk about it properly because, you know, with every game that comes, more nerves are coming with it. And even though we've only got one game per week, you know, our squad will start to thin, as we will talk about when we look at the predicted lineup. But with the way we have been playing, the way Torino have been playing, I read this week that, you know, a lot of their players that might have had COVID would be returning. I say that's not really going to change the large lack of team chemistry that's going on that pitch for Torino. My brother, I expect 3 points, and I would really like them comfortably. So what are your initial thoughts going in before we really dive in?
Yeah, man. Three points has to be the must. There's no excuses. Yeah, we, as you said, there might be some injury doubts or whatever, but yeah, Torino's team, they lost to Crotone. You know, that's definitely the worst team in Serie A last week, which is, you know, that's a killer for them in the relegation zone. They looked all right under the new manager after Gianpaolo left, the Il Maestro. But now they look like they're back in trouble again. So yeah, I'm the same as you, bro. 3 points and then nothing else.
Yeah, 100%, man. I will definitely agree. I was just looking right there at the predicted lineup. That's why I was a little distracted, and I'm like,
Oh, no
oh
worries.
man, we've got to win this game. We've got to absolutely bury these 3 points because, in context, we've got the Juventus game that's been postponed as well. Again, and I remember talking to you last time. I think you said I just want that game to be played, or I think I heard you say somewhere I just want that game to be played. Now we need to wait until the 7th of April until that game is going to be played. There's a couple of pros to this though. If we can keep winning our games, we can keep Juve, you know, figuratively, I guess, at a really big arm's length. That'll really start to crush their spirit. So, you know, I think I just speak for everybody when I say let's wrap up these 3 points as quick as possible and move on to the next one, which is Sassuolo. So let's go to a few comments just before we really dive in. 9 people in this live stream right now. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Helps us a lot. Here we go. Mo. Nice to see you, Mo. As if Mo would miss an edition of Inter Worldwide. Dom.
Tactical Mo.
Tactical Mo. Don Omar. Forza Inter. Forza you, my friend. No matter how bad they are playing, Torino will always cause us problems. They've been a bogey side for the last few years. And, you know, that's why last year when people kept asking me, like, what was your favorite game of the season? I'm like, dude, my favorite game of the season was 3-0 in Turin in the pouring rain. That was my favorite game of the season because that was a whitewash to us. The only shit thing about that game is Barella tried to be a little too fancy with his flick back in play, and that's when I think he did his hamstring or calf injury, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, that was the first game I tested out doing a live stream for that game. Like I was just testing it out back then. I didn't know about StreamYard, and I was like, wow, this is a good game to start off with. 3-0. Yeah, Lautaro sliding in the rain. It was so good. It was so unexpected because as you said in that podcast with the other guys, that was my. It convinced me that this is a Conte team. Like and other Inter teams wouldn't have won that match like that.
Yeah, exactly. Akil says kill the game nice and early. I agree. I want 2-0 at halftime, 2-0, 3-0 at halftime. Oh man, that would be great. Brothers, good to see you. Good to see you, Liam. Oh, this will be good. Mario's in the house. Torino stinks. Raul does not. Follow my M Gags on Twitter for all of your pro Palermo talk, pro Ericsson talk. I'm sure he'll join the discussion now as we talk starting lineups. Midfield wise, Vidal is definitely out. It's going to be tough to see if Ericsson makes it because, you know, I think it's about 6 hours ago now. 6 hours ago now, we've heard that Christian Eriksen might have a little bit of a knock and therefore won't be entertaining this fixture. I think Raul's actually dropped out, but that's all good. He'll come back in soon. So I'll just follow along with the headlines. Christian Eriksen, if he does miss this match, ragazzi, who, Gagliardini is the only one that's going to be able to replace him. And to be honest, I don't know how that's going to go. Gagliardini hasn't started in a long time. Rahul, you're in the house, but we still can't see you, man. We've just got some lingering dots on the screen. So I'll wait for a second for you. Wait, here he is, back on the mic, But with Gagliardini coming into the lineup, I'd like to think that with one game a week, this team in training is being well oiled and well drilled, so that the whole system can still function without too many missed ticks. So Rahul, you didn't miss much. I just said that Christian Eriksen, with the news of the inflammation, I think he's out again. The news of the inflammation will be out. If Gagliardini does start, guys, I actually think it's going to be one of those games where he scores a goal or two, just like he does or he has done against Genoa from time to time. And if that's the case as well, then good, because I trust him to be able to do a job when he is needed to do it. Rahul, do you think Gagliardini, if he does start in the lineup, is going to pull a vintage Genoa Gagliardini performance, man?
Well, the thing is now, as you said, this is a well-oiled machine now. This is a Conte team, and as we saw against Genoa, when Darmian came in for Hakimi, we didn't miss Hakimi. Every single player that comes into this team now knows exactly what they're gonna do. We've played under Conte now for 1.5 years, more than that now. Everyone knows their roles. Everyone knows, the little movement they have to make off the ball, everywhere they have to receive the ball. So yeah, even if Gagliardini starts, yes, we're gonna lose that kind of double regista thing that we've been doing recently. That fluidity we have now, especially building up from the back. Teams, they come to press us, but there's no point now. You got Eriksen, Brozovic, Bastoni goes out wide, Skriniar goes out wide. You're not gonna get the ball. Handanovic is like Edison on the ball nowadays. It's so good to see. So obviously we're gonna miss a little bit of that with Gagliardini. Hey, we know his technical ability is questionable at best, but he offers other things that Conte really likes. Conte always talks about him. He always says one word in Italian: garanzia. He's a guarantee. So for him, he knows what he's gonna do. He's gonna win the ball back. He's gonna provide some physicality. Might even provide some goal threat. So yeah, I've never been the biggest Gagliardini fan. I know me and you in general, we've both always been more leaning towards Mattias Vecino over Gagliardini. But yeah, if Gagliardini starts, my man Gaglia, he can do the job, man. He can do the job.
100%. Speaking of Vecino, thanks for bringing it up, because literally I was about to bring him up next. He was named in Uruguay's preliminary squad for the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, and then I'm pretty sure all these South American qualifiers have been scrapped. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
The fact that he was named in that preliminary squad means he's actually match fit. So we could actually see Vecino off the bench. There's no way a coach like Conte is going to throw him in to start a game ever until he's come off the bench at least 2 or 3 times. But,
unless his name is Arturo Vidal.
Yeah, that's it, man. Vecino, one of those players that in the Spalletti era was made to look, poor a lot of the time in that double pivot, but, with very little creativity in that midfield. We all remember, in the first videos we ever did, we just mentioned cross and inshallah. That was the only way we were going to score and win games under Spalletti. So you can't really pin it on Vecino. He's a clutch player, and I think if you're bringing him on for about 20 or 30 minutes, it could actually be fantastic for us in terms of muscling out the midfield and trying to close out matches. But I don't think that's going to be the case against Torino, because I'd like to be, as I said, 2 to 3 goals to the good before we're trying to bring in substitutions. Let's go along to another couple of comments before we move on. We already saw these ones. It's probably going to be Gallia, which could be a pain. Yep, we've just discussed that. Liam, the pace of the game will probably suit Gallia this weekend, hopefully. Dude, that's what I mean. Torino is a horrible side, especially in the middle of the park. They move the ball slow. They patiently wait for someone to produce something to break the lines, where any sort of team with a little bit of defensive perception, you really don't let Belotti get a sniff on the ball at the moment. And I'd really like to see Belotti miss this game, Rahul, man. I feel like if we can go into this game and Belotti's not in that starting lineup, I'll feel that much more confident.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen recently, there's been rumors building up that Inter are looking at Belotti in the summer, because his contract expires next summer. So if Torino want to sell him, it's probably the best time this summer. And yeah, his game has developed so much this year at Torino, because before I used to only see him as like, an out and out, old school centre forward. But this year, the few times I've watched Torino, you see he has to do everything up front there. He's being the playmaker, he's being a winger, he's like, I think at one point he had the most chances created in the whole of Serie A. So yeah, he's adding tools to his arsenal. But yeah, definitely need Belotti to miss out. But let's not forget, Simone Zaza bowled out against us last time, if you remember.
Yeah, man, 100%.
I think that's the only goal he scored the whole season. I think he scored like two or three more after that, but that's it. That this guy just turned up against Inter and then disappeared.
Solo Inter, bro. I'll also feel a lot better if their centre back Bremer is actually out. He's been pretty solid for them, to be honest. And if he's missing this game, I'm reading now that Bremer might not actually be in this starting lineup. That could actually work to our advantage as well. That was a player that I think Inter would look at because, Torino, with how bad they're going this season, bro, this could be an open market at the end of the season in terms of some of their players, Is there any players in the team that you would take from Torino? I was looking at them and thinking, besides Belotti, obviously, the only one I'd really probably look at is Izzo. But what about you? I definitely wouldn't be looking at Ricardo Rodriguez.
no ponies, no Steven Seagal characters needed around the room. Izzo is Conte's boy, so I wouldn't be surprised if we end up being linked with him. But there's the right wing back who I only noticed when they played us last time, Wilfried Singo. He looks pretty good. He's really quick, very athletic, and the few other times you watch, he's got more. He's not just an athlete. He's got a decent final ball. He scored like a couple of nice goals. I've kept an eye on him since that Inter game actually, because he was impressive. And that match actually, if you remember, Inter Torino, the first match this season, that was the match where my anti Ashley Young propaganda started. That was the match where I was like, get this guy out of here, man. Get Perisic in. The pro Perisic propaganda started then.
2-0, wasn't it? Before we turned it around.
I think Zaza scored, and then Ashley Young gave that stupid penalty on Singo because Singo like flamed him from
right in the chest, didn't he? I remember that he kicked him right in the chest.
Yeah, and they went 2-0 down. Can you still hear me even if I'm not there?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Yeah, okay, let's just continue like this for now. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with the
all good, go for it. It's fine.
So it was 2-0, and then we made the substitutes. We brought on Lautaro, and it was the Lautaro, Sanchez, Lukaku, the trio up front. And I think Perisic came on for Young as well. And then we just turned it around. But that was pure Grinta. Like there was no, I don't think that was like any tactical, genius. It was just literally Inter, reacting to going 2-0 down. Like that would have been embarrassing if we lost 2-0, like 2-1 to Torino. So that was a really good reaction actually, because if you remember that time we were struggling, Champions League was getting us down a lot. The Conte out thing started going on around then. So that was when I was convinced that these players are still behind Antonio Conte.
Yeah, 100%, man. Well, Torino, oh man, you thought they were shit, but just in case numbers-wise you didn't notice, they've only won 3 games this season. They've lost 11, drawn 10. They have conceded hella goals as well. They have also only won 1 game in their last 6. It's if we can't get the 3 points here, Rahul, it could definitely start at least some sort of negative mental state. But I just don't see it happening, to be honest. So I'm going to go into this match and start talking about predictions. Lukaku and Lautaro, I think they might just be able to communicate and have one of their Lula days, one of their days that makes us very, very happy and very fond of the fact that these two are leading our attacking line, and that, to be honest, let's not even think about entertaining the idea of selling either one until they've stood up on a pedestal and done all that they can together as a partnership. Love the fact that Alexis Sanchez has been on the pitch and grabbing goals. It makes me feel so good knowing that he is on the bench, because no matter who comes off the bench, whether it's Sanchez or Lautaro, oh my God, that defense has a train wreck to deal with in the last 30 minutes of the game. It's the reason why Inter gets, if you're thinking in my head, Inter plays 2 games in one sometimes. We have to play a reactory game sometimes when it's not going our way. And we kick off this second version of the match, in which case we usually do dominate and take full advantage. So I do expect Lautaro to start, and I expect Sanchez to come off the bench, and I expect all 3 of our attackers to have a good game. I expect Ivan Perisic, who has been impressive, Liam, to have another good game starting at the left side. And I expect Achraf Hakimi, who was so well guarded by Gosens against Atalanta. If there is one player, and I know it sounds a little hypocritical talking about Perisic and then piggybacking on signing Gosens, but if we're gonna plan to dominate, and that's what Conte said, he wants to start a period of dominance, and we've got some money, go and get Gosens from Atalanta. But anyway, Raul, where do you think the threats are going to come from? From Inter, how do you think it's going to go? That's probably the first time I haven't mentioned that Barella is the best player in the world and that he's already got man of the match.
Oh man, Barella needs a rest, man. That's one thing I wanna say. Like, this guy, you can tell there's been a little bit of a dip recently. Obviously, he's got very high standards anyway, so a dip for Barella is still like 6.5, which for most players would be a 5 a dip. But
yeah.
I just want to see, I don't want to, because obviously the international break's coming up as well, and obviously he's going to be starting for Italy. So I just want to hopefully get this, wrapped up in the first half, get it to 2-0 by, the 50th, 55th minute, and get Barella some rest. But obviously, Conte, we know Conte, he's not going to do that. But that's just my ideal scenario, as you said, Lautaro, Lukaku getting a goal each early, like we did against Genoa. Lukaku, when he scored that goal 33 seconds in against Genoa, something like that would be amazing, because this Torino defense, they're going to sit back deep, they're going to try to frustrate us, they're going to perform better than they have the whole season. They're not going to concede 4 goals like the way they did against Crotone. They're going to try not to anyway. They're not going to leave those spaces. So yeah, early goal against these teams is always the key to then, make them push forward a little bit and be a bit more brave, and then leave the gaps for Lautaro and Lukaku to exploit in the back. And I do want to see a bit of improved performance from Hakimi, because he has been a little bit, lackluster in the last month or so, but not a big deal. I'm just saying I'm expecting something, like a goal or assist from Hakimi this match.
Yeah, and 100% as well. In terms of substitutions, we're always spoiled for choice on the bench these days. However, if Eriksen does not start the match, you will see him on the bench, and hopefully he doesn't need to be used. Once again, if we're able to muscle out this match by 2 or 3 goals, I don't think Conte is going to chuck Eriksen in at all. Unless we are chasing, or we really need some sort of midfield stability, because as you so generously tweeted on Twitter, I think at some point in the last day or so, Stefano Sensi really sold us a dream, and I just don't even know where the dude is. Does he sit the bench? Does he come on for 3 minutes? Is he available? Is his TikTok career taking off to the point where he's quitting football? Dude, what's the go, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think we both, most Inter fans, he's such a nice player to watch. Sensi, we were so over the moon when we saw this guy. I was like, wow, this guy, I thought this guy was going to be a substitute when he first came. I thought he was going to be like a vice Brozovic, but yeah, it turned out to be like a great mezzala. And I thought this year could be it. He was tweeting or Instagramming all the right stuff that I've improved my condition, this is my year. I know you weren't convinced, but I got sold the dream. I know you I saw your video, you were like, bullshit. I can read through this. But I think from what I'm reading, Conte and Sensi seems like is becoming more of a mental issue more than the physical issue now. It seems like he's got a very low pain threshold, or he's just, when you get a lot of injuries, you start going into tackles differently. You start, thinking too much about your play. So I hope he gets past the mental barrier first, and then, yeah, this is going to be the best chance for him now, because with Eriksen out, that is really his position, that left centre mid position. He's the one that could be that double regista like Eriksen as well. So if he's able to put some minutes together, this is the perfect chance for him to come back up in the rankings for Conte, because from what I'm hearing, even in training, he's not really impressed Conte. That's why even when he was fit, like a few weeks ago, he wasn't getting any minutes, or getting like 5 minutes at the end of matches. So I hope he's turned it around. I hope he's not playing Fortnite too much anymore. And yeah, man, it's now or never, Stefano. Now or never, please.
Yeah, 100%, man. So I hope that answers your question, Osman. Gagliardini masterclass on Sunday. Yep, Ahmed already said that earlier. Gagliardini alla Genoa, man. So maybe Conte can like devise this sort of scheme where maybe we set up like the Genoa sign somewhere instead of the just so Gagliardini thinks that we're playing against them. 2-0 up after 65 to 70 minutes and give Barella a rest. Fantastic, Liam. And Will says Brozel to score. Jesse Watch will throw his arms up about 25 times throughout the match as
Hey
well.
man, I need to say something about that. Barella always does it, but everyone loves Barella, so no one says anything to Barella. Barella's like
Barella's got a big mouth, bro.
yeah, Barella's like a mini
you
Brozovic. When you watch him in the match, you see he's worse than Brozovic because he does it at the teammates. I think Brozovic most of the time is doing it to himself.
Yeah. Oh no, like Barella's way worse, man. I said I think it was to Mario after we beat Milan in the Coppa Italia 2-1. Every single member of the Inter squad, board of directors, CEO around the world was celebrating the full-time whistle. Barella walks off by himself in his big puffy jacket and starts to call out one of the Milan players on the bench to come towards him. And someone had to break him up. I'm like, dude, you're the only player on the whole planet. You're the only Inter fan on the whole planet not celebrating.
That's why it's so impressive that him and Brozovic somehow they've gone so long without getting a yellow card. They've both been on a suspension for like 2 months. Every preview I do is like, oh, we have to watch out for Barella, Brozovic, and Bastoni yellow card, and they still haven't got a yellow card. It's amazing.
That's my dude, Robin, who's commenting here, going, Gags Vecino and João Mario. Dude, João Mario's been balling out for Sporting, so we need to collect a little bit more than that 7 million that was rumored. But to be honest, man, yeah, man, I'd trade him for some the fish off the La Coruña port. To be honest, man, I wouldn't really care too much about that whatsoever. Barella throwing tantrums like the one he did last game after Lautaro's pass is exactly why I don't want him to be captain. That's a fair shout, but I think that these things can be taught over time to fix. He's already got all the makings of a captain, and he's about to turn 25, so cognitively he's still getting there. I'm 28 years old and I don't think I'm mature enough to be much at all, but you know, I think he's achieving more than his expectations, right?
And he's got 3 kids already.
3 kids, man, he's doing a lot more than I was at 25, that's for damn sure. So you think it's time for Lukaku's hat trick? He's still yet to get a hat trick, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not greedy enough, you know. That's the thing. Like he'll give away a penalty or something, or you'll try to assist. Like he needs to sometimes just be, you know, killer mentality and go for those hat tricks.
Yeah, 100%, man. But you know, we are very, very lucky to have him. So I can't wait to see the way he's going to outmuscle Torino, because I think he's going to have a good game as well. Rahul, the only other thing I want to let's do a little prediction first before we talk about one of our certain rivals. Yeah, you can go first. You're the guest.
I'm gonna go. I think I'll go 3-1. I think our clean sheet, or like our Handanovic will be beaten by some stupid goal that we'll concede. But as I said, I think Lukaku, Lautaro will get one each, and then one for Hakimi as well, returning to goal.
Nice, man. I'm gonna go with Conte nil. That's 2-0. And I think a goal each for Lukaku and Lautaro, one of those classic 2-zip games. And I'll be happy with that. You know, to be honest, I'd be happy with the deflection of Lukaku's ass, to be honest, for 1-0. But, you know, let's try and make it as comfortable as possible. Juventus, eliminated from the Champions League.
Come mai, la Champions League, tu non la vinci mai.
Gets better every single year. And I did read that a few fans were concerned that now they've only got to focus on the Serie A, but I just don't see it happening, man. Like, and for the first time this season, I'm ready to sit back and start picking on their style a little bit. I've been so reserved all season, thinking, no, it's just a matter of time before they look like this fluid machine under the tactical genius that is Andrea Pirlo. But, oh man, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall of that dressing room after the Porto match to see how many of them were looking at each other in the eye and who was talking to each other, because we know Chiellini's leaving next season. It's a huge part of their identity leaving again. Yeah, what are your thoughts a little bit about their exit, but how do you think they're going to go against Cagliari this weekend, and how do you think they're going to be able to manage Serie A?
Yeah, I'm not too worried about the thing about concentrating on one competition now, because when you look at it really and truly, this was the period that we were going to get the advantage of that, and then actually they've only played, you know, the 2 matches extra compared to us, so there's the advantage was really not even there at the moment. So that's not a big issue to me. Clearly, I've always said I still feel that their squad is still the best squad in Serie A in terms of the whole squad. Maybe not the starting 11, but every time they get an injury, they have like so many players, so many people that they can bring in, which is that crazy depth that they have. They've got 4 centre backs that could be the starting centre backs for any team in Serie A. Demiral, De Ligt, Chiellini. Well, maybe not Bonucci anymore, but still, they've got crazy depth. 2 goalkeepers, their fullbacks. So their midfield, that's where they lack. I went on the. I remember you saw it. I went on Just Juve's channel a few months ago when we did previewed Inter versus Juve, and all the Juve fans were asking, can you swap Barella for Bentancur, Barella for Rabiot? They all know that their midfield is not top class. So this year, as I predicted, then they're not going to win the Scudetto, but I am scared for them because they already have quite a young team. They're already building for the future. They bought Kulusevski, they bought Chiesa, they leaked Demiral are quite young. I am scared that they're already starting to rebuild. And if they do sign a top class center midfield or a couple of them, then I think they're going to be the ones to watch once again. But
100.
Let's enjoy this. The Porto Conceição, my guy, Inter legend from now on.
Yeah, man. You see how after the press conference in Turin, there was no one that asked him questions. That looked like an Agnelli's conspiracy from the ground up, to be honest. No one turned up to the press conference. No post-match questions for the Porto coach. What the hell, bro?
Apparently, Juve gave out the wrong Zoom link to the journalist. It was like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sure, they did, bro. Unbelievable. I mentioned with Mo on our final word this week when we started talking about Cagliari versus Juventus. He was like, it's all about Raja for you, isn't it? I'm like, it is, man, and I can't forgive it. And that's why I wanted Cagliari to be relegated. However, all will be forgiven. All will be forgiven if he pulls a vintage Nainggolan versus Juve performance, bags a goal, and is one of the focal points why they drop points. Can he do it, bro? Can he do it? And then he's back in my...
He's gonna do it. He scored a banger last week. If you saw, he scored a great goal last week. He's got his right foot is warming up. Is warming up for just in time for Juve. We know he hates Juve. He's gonna do it, bro. I'm telling you. He's gonna 100%. Come through.
Dark Lord. Atalanta are now tied with us for 63 goals scored. Man, don't worry about the goals, bro. Just look at the points on the table. That's all that matters. Let's not get too picky. Ahmed, let's not forget Sharma tweeted that Demiral will be the next...
that's incorrect. That's incorrect. I got flamed for that. I didn't say he's going to be the next Lucio. I'm just saying, I know it was a stinky take, but it's just one of those that I just felt like I rate him. I think he's going to be he could be a great, like, old school rugged centre back, but not like Lucio. It's just because I posted that Lucio video and I was just, using that to, retweet it. So it's shown more exposure for it, but I'm not saying he's going to be the next Lucio.
Nice one, bro. All right, well, I think it's going to be a good weekend. Just quickly, are Napoli going to take points from Milan?
I think they can. Gattuso
They'll be way fresher. Milan, kudos to them for getting that away goal against Man United, but 94 minutes in Manchester, they won't be exactly fresh.
Yeah, Milan have had a few injuries as well. Napoli have struggled with injuries all year as well. It's been difficult. Gattuso, he's missed Osimhen for loads of time. Mertens has been out pretty much since the Inter match, but now they're coming back. I think they can get a draw. They were pretty disappointing in the last match. I think they lost. I think it was 2-0. But Ibra was like Zlatan was like in full form back then. So I think without Zlatan, they can get a draw, 2-2 draw, something like that.
Yeah, 100%, man. All right, I'm going to call it at that just before the 30-minute mark. So as always, a huge thank you to my day one G, Uncle Rahul Sharma. If you haven't followed him on Twitter, you're missing out on some really good content. Go and follow him. His handle is down the bottom. Thanks, bro.
Thank you for having me on, and just keep going, man. Enjoying the content, the word, what do you call it? The last word that you do. Final word. Yeah, keep doing that, man. It's good. You and Mo, and the podcast is all Mario, Christian Rivas, Bruno. Shout outs to all the gang, the OGs.
Inter worldwide, man. That's what we do, and that's it. Anybody who's watching who wants to get involved, this is your open floor platform, man. We welcome Inter fans from all over the world to get involved. But more importantly, let's just keep going with the wins. Let's keep going with 3 more points against Torino, then 3 against Sassuolo, and we can just keep regrouping after that. So from Uncle Sharma and myself, Forza Inter. Ciao, ragazzi.